hardcore legend Nick Foley, and you are watching Xtreme Virtual Pro Wrestling. Have a nice day.
Xtreme. What's good, everyone? Welcome to the XVPW Network. I'm your host, Fall Rise, also the voice of Xtreme. And I got one of XVPW's breakout stars, Sir Wilkins from the Job of Tears podcast.
What's going on, everybody? I hope all is well. You know, we're here, about to chat it up real quick, talk about me and only me, because it's about me right now.
All right, so outside of Xtreme Virtual Pro Wrestling, we'll get into that. Trust me. Tell us something about yourself, man.
I'm over. Does that work?
All right, that's part of XVPW, but yes, you are over.
No, I'm talking about in life, not just XVPW.
Oh, okay, you're over.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
yeah, that's it.
Nice. Oh, that's it. All right.
So all you need to know.
So outside of also wrestling, you're into the podcast scene.
Yes, I am. We have a podcast that I co-host with Janelle From H.R. and my brother, Mr. Blacc, called the Job of Tears podcast. Been doing it for going on 3 years now.
Okay,
Solid 3 years. It's something that we have built collectively together and try to, make it into something. Like it's that, coming from the mud type of situation. Everything we do ourselves, we've been growing it for 3 years, and it's something that we, all three of us, thoroughly enjoy and love.
Nice. So, what got you into the podcast scene?
So, honestly speaking, we were working. So this all kind of connects up. Okay, it's gonna be a long story. I apologize, guys, in advance. 10 years ago, I started doing wrestling viewing parties in New York City. I've been doing them. It's going on 10 years now, I think. Yeah, 10 years. Next year we'll make it 10 years, and I'm doing the viewing parties, whatever. Then I had an old business partner of mine, just when we first met. He was like, yo, I love what you're doing. I'd love to partner with you on these viewing parties, whatever. So we partnered together, and he had a Facebook group, which was pretty deep, pretty large at the time, and it's grown. And we were partnering together, and then it came down to, I think we were 6 years into doing the viewing parties. Maybe 7 years, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts at the time. So when podcasts were slowly starting to come up, and the podcast I was listening to was The Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne the God and Andrew Schultz, the Joe Budden's podcast, Sam Roberts. I listened to a bunch of shit. I just realized that, and Rosenberg's podcast. And I remember I was listening to those, and I was like, yo, this is something that I think I could kind of do, but I wasn't really sure about it. So I had an old friend I used to work in retail, Club Monaco. And I had a dude that I worked with. His name is Alex. He's part of a podcast called Eye Pokes and Head Chokes.
Okay.
So they do wrestling, MMA, a little bit of, like most combat sports they do on that thing. Dope podcast. If you ever listen to something else besides Job of Tears, Eye Pokes and Head Chokes is something you can listen to. So they were like, hey, come on, I know you do wrestling, I know you like wrestling, you do the viewing parties, just come on, we'll chop it up wrestling. Okay. And they were kind of my first introduction to Japanese wrestling. Because they're like, we're going to talk about a couple of New Japan stuff, so I don't want to come in there unprepared.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, let me do some research. I was like, holy shit, this New Japan shit is fire. I can curse, right? So I'm watching it, all good times, and then I had brought my old camera guy with me. I was like, yo, hey, I gotta go do this podcast. Do you mind shooting some footage for me of me doing the podcast? Because you need content.
Of course.
And I told him, like, yo, I can't pay you. I'll buy you lunch, though.
That's the best.
He's like, yeah, I got you. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. Free food? Got it. So we went. And he took the pictures and whatever. And then it wasn't lunch, we're having dinner. And he was like, yo, you did a really good job on there. You should continue doing it. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not doing this. I don't have the time to do this. So we had, he's like, no, I got equipment. I got mics. We can definitely do this. Like, come on, let's do this. I said, no, Leo, absolutely not. His name is Leo, for anybody that wants to know.
Okay.
So, fast forward, I'm at the gym, and I'm watching First Take as I'm in between my reps and I'm working out. And I was like, yo, nobody does like a debate show podcast on wrestling. Wheels start turning. And then my old business partner, I approached him. I was like, yo, we should do like a video, like a YouTube podcast type of thing, like a show. Yeah. And he was like, nah, I don't know about that. I was like, yo, you complain that the brand that we work together is getting stale because it was just a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. And you're complaining about that. You need to add content. You need to grow it outside of that. You need to kind of like become bigger than just a Facebook group. Correct. So he was like, all right, cool. So I got my friend Janelle to be on there, and we did it for like, us three of us did it for like 3 or 4 months or something like that, maybe 5. And one episode he couldn't come because he went to Puerto Rico for vacation. My brother came on, and Janelle was the host, was the A mic, if that's what they call in the industry, and me and my brother were debating each other, and it was instant. It was an instant like chemistry. I was like, this really works. So then, fast forward like a month or two in, like at 5 months in, he was like, yo, I don't want to do this podcast anymore because we had creative differences. Yeah. He was like, you can do your own thing, I do my own thing, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Was it also ego?
Yes.
Everything is ego, especially in wrestling.
And to be honest, I think he wanted more control of it. But then it was also like my idea, so I think he didn't want to step on toes too. Yeah. But then it was like he just started changing stuff up, and I was like, this doesn't work. Yeah. And I was like, whatever, I'll just go along with it. And then it just didn't work. But I always see us things as a blessing because that was me, Janelle and I's training camp, kind of. Yeah. Because we got our feet wet, and you know, it is what it is on that one. Mm-hmm. So. I don't like losing, and I don't like giving up on things that I see potential in. So as soon as he's like, I don't want to do this anymore, I called up my brother. I called up my camera guy that was doing our video work. I said, yo, let's do our own thing. So we sat at Legends Bar in New York City for like about 30 minutes. We came up with names, came up how we were going to do it, and that's how we started. And that's literally how it started, and that's how I got into it. And it was more like, I'll do my own thing. I got this. I'll figure it out. But we caught on faster than we thought we were because people were really interested in what we were saying. And people were legit like, yo, this is some cool stuff you guys are doing. And over the years, you know, there's been bumps in the roads. Like, my brother's my brother, so we've gotten into legit fist fights in the studio. Okay. Like, we got into a fight.
Some Usos, Roman type.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. So we used to, and I told you in pre-production, we used to record at this spot called Ripley Grid Studio, and they had like an office space in the back. And my brother and I got into a fight. My brother was about to punch me. I think he was about to punch me with something, and then he misses and hits the wall. There's a dent in the wall behind one of the paintings.
God. That's not even your own space.
Yeah, but the thing about it, we covered it up with the painting so nobody would know. Yeah, and it was just memories. But then we started getting into it, and it's kind of like what you do with XVPW. Like you're growing something. It's like your own baby. It's like yo, this is something that you see something in there that nobody else sees. Mm-hmm. So you continue putting the work in. It's been a beautiful thing now. And we brought it to the viewing parties. We also put other podcasts underneath us to grow a brand so people can like know what it is. And we worked with promotions. And coming July, we're throwing our own wrestling event.
Nice.
Called Jobber Slam. So yeah, it's just growth, and that's how I got into the whole podcast game.
Who thought of the name Jobber Tears?
So, we couldn't find anything. Like, every wrestling name you can think of, Gorilla, Behind Gorilla, Turnbuckle, this and that was taken. Yeah. And it was crazy because I didn't know there was that many wrestling podcasts out at the time. This is like 4 years ago. This was even when podcasts was like as much as they are right now. So my brother, Janelle, and our old camera guy Leo, we're just sitting there like Googling names, and then we thought of Jobber, and we was like, all right, Jobber, what though? And then Janelle was like, we had this old friend named Larry, and Larry was the biggest sports online troll ever.
Okay.
So he would go into like different Facebook groups and just troll people. He's like, let's say the Giants were to lose, and he was like, Giants are gonna lose tonight. And he was like, no. He'll just troll them, and then he'll come in when the Giants were to lose. He'll come in the group and was like, I'm here to collect a bunch of tears.
Okay.
So then we were like, oh, and then Janelle was like, about tears, like Jobber tears or something. I was like, yo, that works. And the reason why was because all three of us, none of us are superstars. Mm-hmm. We're all a bunch of wrestling fans, and we're complaining.
Yeah.
Jobber tears. And that's how it came. And it was weird because people were like, that's a different name, but people always understood it. Mm-hmm. They always ask like, what is that? Because sometimes you need a name like that. People can easily pronounce it, but then people like, what? so that's how it worked. Like if you know wrestling, you know like Jobber tears, what? But then if you don't know wrestling, it's like, what is a Jobber tears?
Yeah. Do you have to explain to your friends the term jobber?
Yeah, people, you know what? People don't want to offend anybody, so people don't ask questions a lot.
Yeah.
Unless I do an interview or something like
mm-hmm.
what we're doing right now, then they'll ask the question like, what is it? But for the most part, it's just like, oh, okay.
It's funny because I use a lot of wrestling terms to people who don't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're over. Yeah, I know, right? And they understand the word over because it sounds like,
good.
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, you just got jobbed. Or something. Like,
yeah.
Like, do you do that too? Like,
so I do it, and then you know what I do it a lot.
Yeah.
But then people ask me like different things about wrestling. Mm-hmm. I explain to them through music.
Okay.
Like if my friends hit me up, I was like, yo, I don't understand this. Like, what's this about? Let's say somebody's like, yo, what does being over mean? I was like, being over means just selling a bunch of records.
Yeah.
It means like everybody loves you, you're selling records. And I also get on my friends, the few friends like who don't understand wrestling. I was like, yo, you know wrestling is everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, no, what do you mean? I was like, boxing has jobbers.
Yes.
Nobody knows this, but boxing has. It's like, no. I was like, no. When you see a boxer that's 18 and 0, mm-hmm. nine of those fights, or even more, are from low-level boxers they needed to beat to get their record, pad their record. and I remember, and I always bring up the Creed the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if people remember. There's a part where he's like, he needs to go to Mexico. Mm-hmm. You go to Mexico to pad your records, to fight jobbers. So your record looks great, and you're over.
Yeah.
Wrestling just uses basic like stuff, and other sports use it too, especially boxing and like MMA. They use the same exact formula, but nobody wants to talk about that.
No, they don't, because they don't like that truth. And we'll be back with more with Sir Wilkins. We're gonna drink more of this coffee real quick. We'll be right back.
Rep the Red X brand the Xtreme way. Visit XtremeVirtualProWrestling.com for official XVPW apparel. Because we're not just the alternative, we are the extreme alternative. Coming soon, a 3-night event tournament. On New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and January 2nd, XVPW presents the Intercontinental Grand Prix Cup Tournament, an intercontinental incident. You don't want to miss this incident.
And my whole thing has always been, you guys claim to be revolutionary. You guys claim to be the revolution. The change, the huge change in professional wrestling. But what change has been made? You have said it yourself, things have been done before. What change has been done that they're like, oh my God, this is crazy? The biggest thing they did, and I will always big them up for, is making Nyla Rose champion. But they didn't stick to it because the heat got to them. Wait. Nyla Rose literally became your first transgender champion in the industry.
And you had a champion for 2 weeks.
And she had a championship for 2 weeks.
Look at it make any sense.
Literally, the game was you had something right there.
Even with Swole and Baker, you had shit. Shit.
But let me finish real quick.
Damn.
You had something right there. Literally, you had a transgender as your female champion. That's a game changer. But you know what it was? The heat got to them. And nobody's going to say that.
The water under the bridge broke.
Number two. Scorpio Sky.
Oh, don't do it.
Scorpio Sky.
Don't do it.
And the thing is, I can't even defend Homeboy. I fucked with Scorpio Sky. I took a picture with him, so I'm not even going to shit on him. But there's certain things that happen. When they asked you, yo, you're like the first black champion here in AEW. When you think about it, I don't look at color like that. Completely knocks it off. Right? How about making this black guy one of your mega superstars in the company?
But it's just wrestling.
No. Once again, you just answered my question, brother. You're not being revolutionary.
Okay.
You're not being revolutionary.
Because the moment you have the opportunity to do a game changer, because the Nyla shit always bothered me. The Scorpio Sky shit always bothered me. There was no reason why he was on Dark and he was on regular Dynamite.
Yo, it's your boy Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed from Up, Down, and you're watching Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling. Like, comment, and subscribe because it's about to get extreme.
And we're back with one of XVPW's hottest signees, Sir Wilkins. So, let's talk about Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling. So, the president wanted me to interview you because you probably had what an impactful match, what an amazing first impression. You faced the Fallen Angel from All Elite Wrestling, Christopher Daniels. Did you know?
Nah, it didn't matter though, because I was going to win.
So tell us about that match. Like, what was going through your mind? To settle fans, like, is it really interesting?
So, I didn't find out till the day before that I was facing Christopher Daniels, and I didn't care. Did I appreciate the fact that I was about to go up against a legend in my first match for this company? Yes. Obviously, yes. But I knew that he was just something I had to go through to get to the next level to make sure that I become champion for this company.
Is that your goal? To become champion?
My goal is always to be the best. Whatever I'm doing.
In your promo, you said that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said you're going to take that top spot. Or why is that top spot important to you in XVPW?
Why is it important?
Yes.
Why would it not be important to me? To come into anything, you have to be the best. You have to value excellence. And I want to be the epitome of excellence in this company.
Interesting. And, I mean, with the first match, yeah, you got the W. And now you're going to face someone who's been XVPW longer than you have, and that's John Tay Keith.
Who? John Tay Keith is my next opponent. Once again, it's the next thing I have to go through to get the top spot. I own this place now. Yes, he has done a lot more matches than I have. Doesn't mean anything. His experience doesn't beat my heart, my determination, my in-ring ability. It's like this. A broken down car that has 100 miles on it, or the brand new Ferrari that just stepped onto the racetrack. Who's going to win?
What do you think of the other guys in the locker room who's hearing this right now? What do you think they're thinking when they're watching this?
They're absolutely scared. Because nobody comes into a company the way that I have come into a company. Everybody wants to be super humble, keep their head down, not talk to anybody, and not have any confidence in themselves. So this bothers a lot of them because why is he so confident? Why is he so confident? I say that twice because that's what they're all thinking. And my confidence scares them. Sadly, they're all going to lose if they go up against me.
Do you fear anything? Does Sir Wilkins fear anything in XVPW? Do you fear anything at all? Do you have a weakness?
Why would I fear anything? What would I be scared about? Everybody in that locker room bleeds the way that I bleed. Puts their pants one leg at a time, just like I do. So why should I be scared? Once again, I'm in the parking lot with a bunch of old cars, and I'm the Ferrari now. Vroom, vroom. There's nothing to be scared about.
Nice. All right, everyone. Well, that's the interview with Sir Wilkins from the Jobbeteers podcast. Be sure to check out the Jobbeteers podcast. You want to plug it in?
Check out the Jobbeteers podcast. Check out the Jobbeteers network. It's on YouTube. It's on all forms of social media. It's on all streaming platforms. Hear me talk and hear my great co-host talk as well. Everything about wrestling and everything about life. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Darby Allen, and you're watching Xtreme Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Extreme.